Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 337 for the 26th of January. And let's start off with the southern front. We have nothing much happening in the southern front. Moving on to the Zaporizhzhia line. On the Zaporizhzhia front, reinforcement has been spotted. An armor column has been spotted moving through Plavny, which is here. This is Plavny. Moving through Plavny towards Kayamsky. So probably to reinforce the situation here, because we do have pro-Russian reports of them bombarding the Ukrainians out of this village. As you can see, this village is very sparse. It's not really like a heavy build-up city area. So perhaps this is the reason why the Ukrainians have to move back away from firing, close firing distance to somewhere that is safer. So they kind of abandon the northern half to try to go towards the northern part a bit so that they don't just die for nothing. Moving to the other side, there is fighting reported at Mali Shebaki as well as Shebaki. So the Russians' Zaporizhzhia Super Duper Uber Winter Offensive is still ongoing, and fighting is also reported at Novodanilivka as well as at Novoporovka. So this the fighting around the Orikhiv region continues. Over at the Huaypol region, we do not have information of fighting around here. There are artillery bombardments on each other as per usual, as per all the fronts. Over at the Velika Novosibirsk region, we have fighting reported at Levatny, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, where there are groups from the Vostok group of forces continue their offensive. So I personally did not follow exactly who are all these units, so I can't really explain who are the Vostoks. And that's all from the Zaporizhzhia line. Over at the Donetsk front, there is a Ukrainian Sukhoi 25 shot down over Andriivka, which is actually on the far western side of Donetsk city. And over at the battle for Voleda, the latest information from the pro-Russian side suggests that the Russian forces actually entered Voleda. Yesterday we mentioned about the rumors of the Russian forces entering Voleda, right? So apparently they actually entered through this water pumping station, and they have already entered into the urban region. They are fighting within the urban region. The gray zone for in the Rybas mapping includes this entire line of buildings along this road, this Manhenstrana road. But I did not map this in because I don't really fully 100% trust Rybas mapping. I only trust the written information from Ryba more. But the mapping is actually done by a different person. Sometimes they get things wrong, so I don't want to preempt. There is also fighting near Pelivka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Same group of forces that is involved in this fighting. And then, however, Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source, maintained that Russian forces did not enter Voleda at all. They say that the 72nd Separate Mechanized Brigade holds the defense, and the enemy is still not entered. They do not allow the enemy to enter the city. So there is this conflict of information between the pro-Russian side and the pro-Ukrainian side, with the pro-Russian side having quite a bit of details saying that the Russian forces actually managed to enter through the pumping station, and it had a foothold in one of the blocks on the 13 paratrooper streets. So not exactly sure which street is that. I think, yeah, that means it's this street. This is the paratrooper street. Desantinsky. I probably pronounced it wrong. Although I map it this way, the Russian forces likely to have full control over all these dachas, holiday homes region. And I just want to show you guys some images from this region. If you look from this, we always talk about how this is actually this Voleda, by the way, very beautiful. You can see some of the high buildings, and imagine you're a soldier, encountering this kind of building, and there might be snipers or Ukrainian soldier defenders, on this area. You can tell that no matter where you stand, you seems to be able to get shot. seem to be able to get shot at. So, and there is only a few points, there's not a lot on Google Earth that we can actually look at. I think, is it this one? Yeah, there's another one. So some of the buildings are not that tall. You can see some of the buildings are actually pretty short. Very beautiful city, you know, very unfortunate. This is actually springtime, I guess, because there's roses growing and everything. It's very unfortunate that this war happened. You know, sometimes, you know, I see this kind of images, I actually feel very, very sad. Like, I really feel like, almost want to cry, that kind of sad. You can see this is the edge of the city. You can see how flat the rest of the territory is. But however, even though this is on a hilltop, it's not really that high. If you look from a distance away, we have, okay, let's watch. If you look around from this distance, you can see that's probably Voleda, I believe. This is north, right? Red is north. That's probably Voleda. And at this distance, you don't really expect the Ukrainians to be able to shoot you with their guns, you know, or rifles. Probably they can only spot you through, you know, binoculars and ask for artillery support. But if you try to approach, you know, through this open field, you can kind of imagine how disastrous that would be. So, no, to attack, no, Voleda, no, in this kind of terrain, is pretty disastrous. So where was I just now? So yeah, so correct. So this is the northern part, and I'm not sure if I even got it correctly. You know, is that even Voleda? No, it's just, it's not really that high. This is my point. So no, while no, if you read the pro-Russian sources, they like to say, you know, how this is a fortress, it's on a hilltop. The hill is actually not that high. It's just a small knoll, or, you know, small hill. It's not that high. You do be able to see Voleda from a distance. For example, if I actually, you know, I can go further. Do I have a further point? How about this one? Can we see Voleda from here? You can see it's just not so clear. No, where's Voleda? It's not that high. So this is my point. And anyway, ignoring the terrain anymore, there is a Ukrainian Sukhoi 25 shot down over Voleda. Probably, you know, they were sent to help to defend the lines. Unfortunately, they got shot down by air defense systems. So fighting is the fighting at Voleda is now acknowledged by both defense ministries. As you can see, the Russian Defense Ministry reported the fighting towards or in the area of Voleda, and Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported that they are defending Voleda. So you can see Voleda. Yeah, so that's all for Voleda. And I know some of you guys tell me in the comments, you know, it should be pronounced as Ugleda, but as you can see on my Google Maps, you know, in English they write in the Ukrainian way, so I'm going to pronounce in the Ukrainian way. So until it changes on Google Map, no, I'm not going to change the way I pronounce. If not, people who are using the English Google Maps, it's going to get very confused. South, on the southern part, you know, we also talk about this settlement, this dachas, this holiday homes in between Bilohorivka and Mikhailsky, that the Russians have captured this location. The current information we do see from the pro-Russian side is that the Russian forces is currently doing mopping up, the cleaning up operations to make sure that there's no more Ukrainian forces there. However, as per 10 a.m. yesterday, there is still shooting battles in some of the houses, so which means that there might be some Ukrainian forces still stranded within this area here. However, it's not going to be like a major defense force at all, because the front line has already moved way ahead towards Voleda. The distance from this to here is probably a kilometer or more, so it's actually pretty far away already. Moving on over to Marinka. There's fighting reported in Marinka, according to Ryba and the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, with Ryba reporting that the fighting is still on the western outskirts of the city. Similarly, I'm still, you know, trying to figure out what does it mean by outskirt. You know, is it on the western part, or is it that the Ukrainian forces is actually outside of Marinka and fighting through the forested region against the Russian forces in the urban, or, you know, totally devastated urban region? So we shall continue to see how this goes. There is some images coming from all these places, but, you know, it's just hard to determine the date where the footages or photos are taken. So let's see how it goes. Moving on to the Pisky region or Pervomaisky region, there is fighting reported at Nevelsky, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, and there is also fighting reported near Vodian. This is a restart of the offensive within this region. It had kind of paused for a few days. So now the fighting has flared up again. This is not reported by pro-Russian sources. So yeah, this is it. Rivka, nothing much. There is, okay, so here comes the New York region. The New York region, there's a few points of fighting I want to highlight. There's probable fighting near Bakhmutivka. So the Russian Defense Ministry, they reported that the units of the Yuk group of forces were in the offensive, and they did not really mention where they are fighting at. In their PowerPoint slides maps, they put a few, those attack symbols that they use, which is an explosion, and based on the mapping on their very old map that they use, it seems like, so this is not 100%, so that's why I use the word around. Most likely is around Bakhmutivka, somewhere around on the eastern part of New York, somewhere around Mayosk, and somewhere around Kerdyomivka. This is the 4 locations that was shown on the Russian Defense Ministry's mapping in the videos, which there is the link to go to the. You can also go to it yourself, the Russian MOD Telegram channel in English. And the only way I managed to find these locations is based on Konstantinivka, which is listed very bigly on the map, and then based on the frontline location. So the front line here is drawn like this small, like really small. So this is just an estimate of where the Russians are pushing, but it is indication that the Russians are trying to push within the region of New York region. Moving on to Bakhmut front. Bakhmut front, there is fighting from Kleshevka towards Ivanivsky. The pro-Ukrainian source Deep State UA actually reported is towards the highway, whereas Ryba reports is towards Ivanivsky. Otherwise, generally, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry just say there is fighting reported near Kleshevka. Over at Bakhmut city, there is fighting reported at Bakhmut. Detailed information we do not have for this past 24 hours. Over at the northern part, near Soledar region, fighting continues to be reported at Blahodatny, Krasnohora, and Paraskovievka. And there is no repeat of the information mentioning Zalisnyansky, nor this location of Dubovo-Vasilivka, which means that without the corroboration of this information, despite it's coming from the from the Russian Defense Ministry, it's likely that they are just using these 2 locations to describe the entire front line is currently being attacked. So, but no, we'll continue to monitor whether if that actually is a breakthrough. If it's not, then the Russian Defense Ministry is just being a bit liberal with the way how they name where the fighting is, and I'm going to push back these 2 spikes backwards to where the front line estimated to be. Moving into the Sivers front. At the Sivers front, there is fighting reported at Rozdolivka. It's a continuation of the long time fighting. It's been fighting here for maybe 2 weeks already. So the fighting is still ongoing around here. Over at Bilohorivka, there is some new developments coming from the Deep State UA. So Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source, reported that the Ukrainian forces have lost their control of the forest north and northwest of Bilohorivka. So this is Bilohorivka, which is actually a very small and sparse village. And this is the forested area. Okay, so what happened was that I went on to, prior to this moment, I went on to report the rest of the reporting for the next 15 minutes, and then I realized that I wasn't recording. So I have actually no idea where I have reported until. So I'm gonna assume that I'm talking about the forest region here because I don't want to re-record the first 15 minutes. So the Ukrainian forces, according to Deep State UA, actually have evacuated this entire forested region around here. So the based on this information, we can kind of analyze that the Ukrainian forces have withdrawn through this forest line and probably to this forest line, like this, withdraw from this region. And the Deep State UA actually just kind of determined this purely based on this. Oh, cool. Based on, okay, sorry, I paused a while because I thought my computer hanged. Yeah, based on the information that they saw this video of great bombardments of this region over here. Here, this entire region was bombarded, and that's how they seem to come into conclusion of this withdrawal. But what's important is that with the Ukrainian evacuating this entire forested region, we can now confirm that the Russian forces have entirely secured Bilohorivka. So previously, we have the Ukrainian Defense Ministry claiming control over Bilohorivka based on them saying that they repulsed attack in the area around Bilohorivka, and this is since early last month. So with this information, we can confirm that the Russians have secured fully Bilohorivka, and the fighting is now moving away from this small but very sparse settlement. And moving up north, we have fighting reported at Sperne and Verkhomokanyanske. So information coming from Ukrainian Defense Ministry and Wolgonzo. Otherwise, we do not have any more fighting around the Sivas region. And this information is from 25th. So probably I already reported this. Sukhoi 27 got shot down. Over the Crimea region, so there is also no fighting reported at the Bilohorivka in the Luhansk region. This is not reported. Over the Crimea region, we have the Russian Defense Ministry reporting that they performed strikes on the Ukrainian forces, namely the 25th and 95th Airborne Assault Brigades, by operational, tactical, and army aviation. So I'm not fully sure how is this supposed to be read. Maybe there's an operational and tactical aviation, and then there's army aviation. So the group of forces here is called the SITREP, group of forces. No idea what is all this supposed to mean. So if you are Russian, maybe you would know better. And bombardment is also reported at Zaporizhzhia. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, there is fighting reported at Chervonopopivka, Nevsky, as well as at Ploshchanka. So these three locations is reported to be under Russian offensive. So this is reported, as we can see, in the area of Ploshchanka, Nevsky, and Chervonopopivka. So this is the Crimea region. Moving up north to the Sviatove region, we do not have much information about this region here, except that we do have reports of shelling at Novoselivsky. And over at Kupiansk region, the shelling is reported at Khimkovka and Sinkivka. The group of forces here, the Russian Defense Ministry described them as the Zapad group of forces. So I have no idea what is all this supposed to mean. So if you guys are Russian, maybe you guys have understanding of what's all these words. Maybe they have meaning, maybe they are just Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta kind of thing. So maybe you guys would know better. So anyway, that's all from the Kupiansk region, and that's all from the summary of the day of 337 for the 26th of January. And do press the like button, do subscribe, especially if you are new to this channel. Do press subscribe. I would love for you will over time fall in love with this channel and the people in the DPA community, and I do hope that you will join the DPA army soon, be part of the community. And that's all for watching. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.